We are 2 months away from the NFL draft. We'll tell you our favorite picks at number 12 and number 20 next.
You are Locked On Cowboys, your daily Dallas Cowboys podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome back to the Locked On Cowboys podcast. We'd like to thank you for making us your first listen every single day. And also thank you for making us the number one sports podcast network. This episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Use your profit boost on an NBA future and get entered for your chance to win a trip to the NBA Finals. Play your game with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Welcome back. I am your host, Marcus Mosher. He is Landon McCool. And on today's show, we're talking about our favorite round one picks for the Dallas Cowboys. We're 2 months out from the NFL draft. I always like to do this. I write it down on a little notepad next to my desk to just kind of see where the feel is at when it comes to these picks and see how much it changes over the next couple of weeks, and it will. But as of right now, Landon, what would be your favorite, I'm going to say realistic, pick for the Cowboys at number 12?
I just imagine you with a scribbled note in your pocket that says Jeremiah Love, no matter what.
Oh my gosh. I did have one that said Luther Burden all last year.
I do remember that. Yeah, I think realistic is the key thing here, obviously. But I also think that even the unrealistic options are kind of sort of realistic just because of the best players that you could possibly ask for outside of maybe Arvell Reese. I just don't think that Arvell Reese could possibly fall. Would I be absolutely gobsmacked if Caleb Downs fell to you at 12? I wouldn't be so shocked. Not like shocked. I think like CeeDee Lamb falling to you or
exactly the combo I was going to use. CeeDee Lamb falling to the Cowboys at 17 was way more unrealistic than Caleb Downs falling to 12.
I agree. And Dez Bryant, like we traded for Dez Bryant, but I mean, just like as far as like shocking, Morris Claiborne, like I don't think it would like that was another just really shocking one. Like I don't think that I don't think I would be that level shocked. However, I won't pick Caleb Downs here, even though if anyone's asking, that's my first choice here.
It's fair. I'm fine with that.
I think it's Sonny Styles at 12. I don't necessarily love the idea of taking a linebacker. My preferred route of handling this whole situation is to get a linebacker in free agency. We've talked about this before. I just think that Sonny Styles is a really special player and at a position where more and more that position is becoming more valuable. He can stay on the field when at all three downs. He's just a player who's on the rise. And I just think that we've talked about this before. There are times when really, really, really good players almost get outshined on super teams, right? Like Ohio State has done this before in their wide receiver core and like in other spots where there's just so much talent in that group that sometimes they just aren't as easy to appreciate all the way, even though they're very much in the public eye. There's like they're hiding in plain sight. I think Styles is like that, where if you really examine like all the elements of him, he's just a player on the rise. And I just don't think you get a lot of linebackers like him coming out of drafts every single year.
Man, I've got no problem with Styles at 12, but my guy is Mansoor Delane from LSU. I just love watching him play. I love how aggressive he is. I like how physical he is despite being undersized. And to me, it's a part of like, it's really hard to find corners like this. And if you do, you got to pay a ton of money in free agency for them, or you've got to trade like multiple first round picks like the Colts had to do. I just think you put Delane together with a healthy Deron Bland, and you've got two corners that can play inside and outside. You hope Revel can eventually figure it out. But I love Delane, and I think that's the guy that is ready to play against any style of defense. And it's hard to draft corners, and I know he's undersized a little bit, but I just love the attitude.
Yeah, the size is obviously the thing that is my concern, but absolutely agree. Would not have any problem with him being the pick at 12. It makes a ton of sense. He's super talented. Teams just weren't throwing at him, and for good reason. And you could just see there's so many times on the tape where you're watching it where he's coming off of his guy to go get the ball because he knows exactly where it's going to go. Like it's kind of wild to watch. Yeah, just a super heady player, makes up for – that's what you want to see these undersized guys do, is make up for their lack of size in some way or form. He more than makes up for it with the way he plays and how smart he is in understanding the game.
So Sonny Styles, Mansoor Delane, they're on our short list for top options at 12. But what about at pick 20? We'll get to that next. This episode is brought to you by TurboTax. Tax season doesn't have to take over your life. This year, TurboTax is making it easier than ever to just hand things off and move on with your day. With TurboTax full service, you can have your taxes done for you by a trusted local expert, start to finish, without the stress or the guesswork. Instead of spending hours trying to figure out forms, you can meet with a local TurboTax expert in person or connect online. It's a huge time saver because they handle everything from W-2s to self-employed forms and work to get you every deduction possible. And for a limited time only, you can have your taxes done for you by a trusted local tax expert for just $150 all in. If a TurboTax expert didn't file for you last year, just file by February 28th. So take taxes off your plate and get back to your life. Visit turbotax.com/local to book your appointment today. This episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Have you ever wanted to experience the NBA Finals live and in person? FanDuel is giving you the chance to turn that dream into reality with their NBA sweepstakes. And here's how it works. Use your profit boost on an NBA future, and you'll automatically be entered for a shot to win a trip to the NBA Finals. That's right, flights, tickets, the whole experience. And if you're already looking at the board, thinking about which teams can make a deep playoff run, this is the perfect time to lock in. So visit FanDuel.com to get started and use your profit boost on an NBA future and get entered for your chance to win a trip to the NBA Finals. Play your game with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Welcome back to the Locked On Cowboys podcast. We're discussing our favorite options at pick numbers 12 and 20 for the Cowboys. Sonny Styles, Mansoor Delane at 12. Who's your top option at 20?
This is a little bit of a spoiler alert because we haven't talked about these guys yet, but it's Dillon Thienaman from Oregon. I just think that he certainly could have gone with one of these pass rushers that I think will be available there at 20. And I'm not going to be upset with any of these guys as well. But in my ideal draft, I took a linebacker at 12. I got to find a way to get a defensive back out when I'm coming out of this draft. And I just think he's a guy who, maybe even more than some of these corners, that I feel like I could plug into that nickel spot. He can play safety if I need him to. He's just a heady guy who I think he's got valuable skill set that could slide right in. I think that's the thing about 20, I will say, is there are so many guys I think that will be available that I would be thrilled with. And that's the good part about that pick. But
yeah, I feel differently. There's only a couple that I like at 20. So this is interesting.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, look, I'm taking the draft for what it is at this point. And I think that, I think that there's a couple different guys that I probably would have been comfortable with. I'm sure whoever you pick, I'm probably going to be okay with too, just unless you're going to blow me away with somebody.
No, I mean, my guy is Cashius Howell. I love Cashius Howell, the edge rusher from Texas A&M. It is partially because, number one, I think he's a really good fit in this defense, right? If you're going to be playing more odd man fronts, you need these edge rushers that are comfortable playing on their feet, dropping into zone coverage, but also because they're going to be playing so wide, guys that can really bend the edge and get to the quarterback quickly. And I think that's Cashius Howell. I just don't think they've got one guy right now on their roster that has any kind of juice on the edge, and that's Donovan Ezeraki. You bring in another guy like this, and even if he's not a full-time player as a rookie, I think there are ways that you pair him with, like, let's say a Jadeveon Clowney, and you figure out that defensive end position. Yeah. These kind of guys are hard to find. He's super, super productive, 2 double-digit sack seasons in his career. I think at 20, you're just not concerned about maybe the lack of power or him being able to stop the run because it's a perfect scheme fit.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, I think you can start him out really early as just a defensive pass rusher. And if you've got a veteran guy like Clowney, like you said, he can eat up some snaps for him early. And while you're waiting on him to develop a little bit, I think that blitzing is going to be or sim pressures are also going to be a huge part of this defense next year. So there are going to be ways for you to generate pressure outside of just pure edge pass rushing, until you've got the horses to do it that way, because obviously attacking with 4 and then dropping 7 is the best way to win most of these games. So yeah, I don't hate that pick at all. I think he's another really solid pick for what the Cowboys need.
So just to be clear, your 2 picks are a off-ball linebacker and a safety, correct? Like
I view Thienaman more as a nickel, as I honestly.
Bob.
So yeah, I know.
I'm just saying
buddy.
positional value, man.
I hear you, but I think in a world where nickels are starters, I think you need to have these kind of guys.
All I'm saying is if you're going to draft a safety at 20, you might as well draft the second best one in the class. And I don't think that's Dillon Thienaman, but that's a tease for our Tuesday show. You should check it out where we'll be talking about the other non-Caleb down safeties in this draft class and which ones that we like the best for the Cowboys. So tune in for that. Make sure you download the podcast wherever you get your podcasts, because we are free and available on all platforms. And if you never miss an episode, the Everydayer Club is built for you. Get Locked On Cowboys ad-free, plus members-only Discord access, and so much more. Head over to lockedoncowboys.supercast to join the club. And for those of you on video, we can send you the first ever 24/7 national NBA YouTube channel. And on audio, make your second listen, the NFL Locked On NFL Draft Podcast. Follow Landon on Twitter at McCoolBCB. I'm at Marcus_Mosher. We'll see you right back here on Tuesday.